Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with Amigud. Amigud, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing okay. Jana ulikuwa wapi bana?
Jana tulienda kutafuta ndege kuenda Addis Ababa, lakini tulikosa ndege. Wengi wetu ndio walikosa.
Ulikosa ndege ama ulikosa pesa ya kununua ticket? Unajua kuna
Pesa
tofauti ya kukosa
pesa ya
na
ticket,
eh,
pesa ya ticket nayo nilikosa, si ati nilikuwa nayo, lakini tunajua sisi tulikuwa tunalipiwa. Watu kama sisi tulikuwa tunalipiwa. Kuna wale
eh,
waheshimiwa ambaye waliamua kuwalipia watu wengine.
eh,
Tulikuwa miongoni ya hao watu walikuwa wanalipiwa.
eh. Lakini sasa mambo ikawa wewe huku umebahatika kuwa kwa hapo ama nini?
Uko mbali na sauti.
Nasema sasa nini ilitendeka, kwa sababu kama ulikuwa unalipiwa na uende tena ukabaki, shida ilikuwepo wapi?
Walituambia tungoje tuende leo asubuhi, lakini pia mimi nilikuwa na mpango zangu.
Yeah,
Singefika
okay.
leo. Leo kulikuwa na vitu vingine. Leo pia unajua ni ile siku ya wapenda nao.
Ndio nilikuwa nataka kukuuliza, mbona sijaona kama umevaa nguo nyekundu kuonesha mapenzi, ama wewe hauna ule mtu ambaye unampenda?
Mimi hata kwa sasa sina yule ambaye nampenda, lakini kunapenda familia yetu na kuna
Ehe.
wale familia, niko na familia
Mm.
mama yangu, watoto wetu,
Yeah.
mimi najipenda,
Eh,
lakini wakati tutapata huyo wa kupenda
eh.
pia tutampenda tu hiyo wakati. Kwa sasa wacha sisi tujipende tu wenyewe kama vijana, lakini hata hivyo nimetii amri. Hata
Eh,
na leo ile shati yangu ya leo ni nyekundu,
eh.
inakaribia nyekundu, lakini
Mm.
si nyekundu vile, ni maroon lakini inakaribia. So nimetii amri na nikasema leo ni siku ya kupenda, lakini wakati wetu ikifika ya kupenda,
Mm.
tutapenda tu. Kwa sasa bado ni siasa.
Ya ukipata nafasi, najua wewe ni mtu wa SDA, lakini ukipata nafasi ende usikize wimbo wa Remi Ongala, Kipenda Roho. Wimbo mzuri sana. Ukipata nafasi usikilize wimbo wa Remi Ongala. Hayuko saizi duniani, lakini hayuko. So Addis Ababa, and a much focus today is on Addis Ababa, the election that will take place tomorrow, that is Saturday. And as you know very well, there are only two outcomes. One is either win, the other one is you lose. So in the case of Raila Bolodinga, I would be very specific and say that Raila might win or he might lose. So is that, and his winning and losing will impact the Kenyan politics. That is something that I hope me and you agree. And it will impact the politics, as I said earlier, and also the politics of President William Ruto and the politics of Raila Molodinga. You know, there's so many intrigues that are there. So before we go into the main discussion on what if he loses or what if he wins, what awaits us, maybe your general view on the entire Raila Odinga campaign ever since he started his campaigning towards the AUC, and now the day we are counting hours. What is your take?
I can say that the campaign has been extremely, it has been extremely hot. What I can say, it is hotly contested seat in the continent, because someone like Raila, in his age, has traversed almost 41 countries in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
That is next to impossible because of the AUC whatever he want to become. He has gone across Africa. Not only Africa, we have also seen Raila going to Europe, even in United States of America. Sometimes they are meeting African leaders outside the continent. There are some who have been met in Europe, some have been met in America. I can say that it has been a very tiresome campaign.
Mhm.
They have tried. As I can also say that it has cost them, it has cost money because moving by the mode of transport at the same time meeting head of states is not easy. The kind of modes of transport required to meet the head of state, the entourage team, the diplomatic people, it has cost them. For the people who raised for him the fundraising, it has cost them, and at the same time, it has been tiresome. But I just wanted to comment on one thing that Kenyan people, by the time Raila was moving across Africa, even to Europe, even to America, some people viewed it that it is only Raila who is meeting these presidents. But they were forgetting that even the Djibouti guy was campaigning, the Madagascar guy was campaigning. Raila has been on our side because we have been following him. He has been posting. But the same way Raila met 41 head of states,
Yeah.
is the same way the Djibouti guy and the Madagascar guy met those 41 head of states. Those head of states were not
If,
exclusively met by Baba alone.
if you look at and sorry to cut you off, if you look at the the resources that has been put towards the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga campaign, uh, maybe if you compare with what the other candidates or other competitors, based on what we are seeing on the social media, as you said earlier, that he's meeting head of states, do you think they are more or less of the same, the resources?
They vary. It depends.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know, there are those people who their lifestyle, our lifestyle are different. You can prefer to use other means to reach your electorate. I can use other means to reach my electorate. Some people do use money to
Mhm.
bribe the electorates. Some people just use persuasive. They can persuade you to vote for them. Some people will say for you agenda. And some people are also blessed that some people are just going to vote for you, whether you persuade them, whether you bribe them. They'll just vote for you based on the friendship or based on the interest or based on the whatever, be it even the strategic positions. But
Yeah.
I can say that Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Baba, has really spent a lot of money, and it has also cost him his time because right now he could be doing other things in the country or he could be
Yeah.
engaging the family, but he has been outside campaigning for the sake of AUC chairperson. But what I
Mhm.
wanted to state before you cut me was, and it's very important,
Yeah.
people not forget that even the Madagascar guy and the Djibouti guy also reach all those aids of state. They were not meant for Raila alone. And these AUC elections, Raila is not going to compete by himself. That's Raila alone. He's having some people who is going to compete against. The very people he's going to compete against have also traversed the Africa, have also spent money. Raila is not only the candidate who has only friends in South Africa or the SADC community, he's not only the person with the friends in the ECOWAS, West Africa. He's not only the person with the friends in the North Africa. He's not only the person with the friends in the sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
All these guys also have friends and they also have states that back them. That should be taken into consideration before we come to conclusion that AUC is a walk in the park.
Okay, thank you so much. And as you mentioned earlier, and if you look at the campaigns that have been put in place, especially by Raila Odinga, we are seeing that there is that element of the Kenyan population. Majority of them tend to throw their weights behind the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. That is one. Then, secondly, also in our political waters in Kenya, you find like the AUC has dominated the talk of the day, especially in politics, as compared to the other competitors in their countries that we don't see. Why is that one so?
First, the people of Great Republic of Kenya who have shown the support to Raila Odinga, who have backed him, and the ordinary people, some state officers, and even some people have traveled from yesterday today, and some will be leaving tomorrow very early in the morning to the Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. They are within their right to support whoever they want to support. It is not important. What makes sense here is that it is only President Ruto who is going to cast his vote. If President Ruto is going to cast his vote, it could only worry me if Ruto is not going to vote for Raila, or if Ruto is not going to cast his vote for Prime Minister. That one could have been worrying me. But any other Kenya who is opposing Raila, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. What is important here is that the President of the Republic of Kenya has agreed and has supported Raila financially. He has supported Raila with the time, because sometimes they used to campaign together. And he ought to have gone to Addis Ababa tomorrow around 7 a.m. But he went to Addis Ababa yesterday because of the other pressing issues. That can tell you that he is fully behind Raila, and the head of state is the final in that decision-making table at that ballot. All of us, doesn't matter. We are just like cheering squad.
Okay. And just before we also go too much deep and talk about on how the politics will play, the Wamunyoro, this is former deputy president, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, has also written some good literature about Raila Amolo Odinga. He says, I quote, "The Kenya finest, Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga is undoubtedly the best bet for African Union Commission chairmanship. Africa deserves the best. There is no doubt about Raila's worldview and championship for African people. As a continent, we need a Raila Odinga character to gel the Anglophone and the Francophone selves towards the continent of the future. His win in this Addis Ababa imprints his quest for his Pan-African spirit he has lived and championed. Raila Odinga win will be a good progressive for Africa. His victory will be win for Kenya, our motherland. That is the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, aka Wamunyoro. And now here we are seeing patriotism, where even if you have a political view, different view, but now when it comes to the country, you put your country first. What do you say about the message from His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua?
First, I would like to salute Wamunyoro.
Yeah.
And after saluting the Rigiji for that good message from him, because people view that Rigathi Gachagua currently is having a divergent opinion with the status quo.
Yeah.
They believe that he can oppose anything that the status quo is supporting, because we know very well that Raila was a candidate of the government. Raila was the candidate of the people of Kenya, because the first support must come from the head of state of that country. And Raila had no option but to support by Ruto. Ruto currently is an enemy of Gachagua politically, but it's a good thing, because even if they differ politically, ideologically, but still they can support one of their own who is a Kenyan, just like another person, because we are going to compete continentally in the African. But the candidate we have is Raila Odinga. We don't have any other candidate. That's the only person who is going to represent us. Doesn't matter the region is coming from. Wamunyoro has done well, but I'll also look at it in the angle of politics. Wamunyoro also wants a soft landing. If Raila wins, he will say that I supported him. You saw me the other day in State House. I supported him while I was the deputy president. But even the D-Day to election, I also wrote a certain poetic tweet to show that I'm insulating the Raila Odinga. In my view, you want to have a soft landing when Agwambo wins. But when Agwambo lose also, you will still have a soft landing that even if he lost, I supported him. I never opposed him. So either way, you want to win, as they say. Politically, either way, Rigiji want to get the scorecard that if Raila wins, Rigiji supported him. If Raila lose, Rigiji supported him. So he has nothing to, there's no casualty when it comes to Raila's bid in the AUC to Wamunyoro. The only person who's having a problem now is the current president of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, because they have given him ultimatum that let him do everything possible to make sure that Raila wins that seat. Because if Raila loses that seat, you heard what Raila supporters were saying, that if Raila loses, then they'll start to chart a new way. And this is not a threat. I know those guys. They will give William Ruto headache because they will. Yesterday I was talking to some of them via WhatsApp. They were
Yeah.
telling me we don't trust William Ruto. They are already prepared psychologically that if Raila lose, it is William Ruto who has caused him to, to lose that seat. So in my view, William Ruto must tread very carefully because this is a do or die for him, not for Rigiji, not for Baba.
But now, let us just be very realistic with the President William Ruto. I think, to me, I would say that President William Ruto has done everything that he can do, and he still continue to do anything within his means and powers to see Raila getting the chairship. You know, but that one cannot translate to votes, because when it comes to voting, it doesn't matter what you've done. So what can he do? Because he's not counting, he's just going to vote as any other candidate. Apart from that, as Raila is a candidate, is the country to present to you, which the president has done. So what else do they demand from President William Ruto?
That's a very nice question because I was telling you what Raila supporters are saying on the ground. I was reporting from the ground.
Yeah,
But the actual thing right now, the realistic thing you have asked me, is that we are going to a democratic exercise, which is a universal suffrage, whereby you cast your ballot and you cast it individually, and there is
yeah,
no influence from any other person, or there's no any influence from William Ruto. William Ruto does not influence the outcome, or the other presidents does not influence the outcome. What influences the outcome is the universal suffrage, whereby one
yeah,
man, one vote. One man must walk in and cast his ballot and vote. But we have to agree on other things. The the fairness of the universal suffrage of the democratic exercise, that fairness is not also realistic.
yeah,
It is not realistic that it is going to be free, fair, and transparent based on some factors, because there are so many things that influence that outcome. There
yeah,
are personal interests,
yeah,
and there are also strategic positions of Africa, and there's
yeah,
also power. Previously, I told you that the African continent, we have the interests differently. The SADC community,
yeah,
the ECOWAS community, the Sub-Saharan community, the East African community, the North African community, but they have further divided them even into the colonial masters, that Anglophone, the Francophone. There are a lot of interest in this election. There's a lot of interest from the colonial masters. There are a lot of interest from the region. There's also a lot of interest, not only politically, but also
mhm,
economically, because
yeah,
there are certain countries there whereby they are the opaque nations. Those people who are petroleum economic zones country, they also have their own interest when it comes to economically, when it comes to issues of petroleum and oil.
yeah,
It is so complicated to an extent that you cannot view it in one angle, that Anglophone, Francophone, and you leave it at that point. You must narrow it down to the regional, like SADC, like ECOWAS, like East Africa Community, North Africa, Sub-Sahara, and further narrow it down to economically. And that's how you can get it right. In my view, it is a contest between, I've seen like three guys who are going to compete over
yeah,
that seat, but Raila can win, but losing, we have there's so that sort of number two and number three. You can lose by becoming number two, you can lose by becoming number three, but we have only one winner. Lastly, I want to say this.
mhm,
Yesterday you had the CS for Foreign Affairs, Musalam Davadi, stated clearly that that African Union Commission composed of 8 commissioners. Out of these 8 commissioners, currently they have 6 commissioners. They only want 2 commissioners. That is the chairperson and the deputy chairperson. Out of these 6 commissioners, 4 of them are coming from the Anglophone countries. One from South Africa, one from Nigeria, one from Ghana, one from Swati. Therefore, if Anglophone currently in that commission are having 4 people represented at the commission,
Yeah.
and you understand that the deputy commissioner must come from North Africa, the Arab country. Where is the Francophone? In my view, if they can decide that we can give a Francophone the chair of the commission,
Mhm.
that is where the reporter journalist was saying the rubber will meet the road. But we don't wish him that way. That's just analysis. What I want to say is that we have to answer that we have 2 slots are remaining
Yeah.
for the deputy and the party and the chairperson. For the deputy is reserved for the Arabic nation. Now the battle we have tomorrow is the chairperson of the African Union Commission, and we have the candidate from Anglophone, and we also have a candidate from Francophone and other candidates also. So there are 3 very strong candidates. Baba is not only the only strong candidate in that election. If people look at it as Baba is the only strong, no. Even these other 2 guys are very much strong because they are getting backups from their regional where they're coming from.
Right.
And the AUC elections, the way I've stated earlier, that it is not going to be based on the issue of meritocracy, the issue of personality, how fine you have been, or how far you have friends in Africa. It is
Yeah.
going to be narrowed down with so many interests to an extent, because you had the other day that the SADC community are being urged to rally behind Madagascar guy. And remember, in the SADC community, Ramaphosa is a close ally to Raila. So this thing supersede friendship, it supersede ally. The interest of the region, the economical interest, the state interest supersede personal interest, supersede meritocracy of an individual. Therefore, it's a very competitive exercise, not the way we are viewing at it. And if Baba got an opportunity to be elected tomorrow,
Yeah.
then we will celebrate him. And indeed, he will be a strong candidate. But it's not easy as people are viewing it.
Okay, thank you so much. And I see Makobura. Let me welcome our good friend Douglas Kibogong. And I hope, Douglas, you're doing good. And this is what Douglas says. The problem there is a guy called Guido Inex giving out email address of African heads of state for Gen Z to inject against Baba. It will really affect the reputation. Yeah, that's what like when we were starting in the first page, first of our conversation, we look at how the the journey for Raila Odinga has been dropped or has been put into the perspective of the Kenyan politics. We've we've inherited the Kenyan politics on how we do our politics and make it be part of the Raila Odinga AUC journey. And it's also something that Miguda has talked about on how the francophone, anglophone, and all that. And that one begs the questions of Africa. As much as we might talk of African, like we want to unite Africa, but you still find like the language or the language of colonial masters, or would I say the thinking of colonial masters is still with us. We still think along those ways that who was ruling who was ruling, without putting into consideration that this is an African affair. Let us look at what really ails Africa without including the Anglophone and the Francophone. Makobura, how are you doing, sir?
Good evening. I'm doing good. I thank God.
Yeah.
Labda nyinyi ambao mlitangulia mko vipi?
Si tuko salama, tujaona mabaya. Miguda pia natumai yako vizuri. Labda kama wewe ndio uko na habari ambayo labda unaweza tuambia, ama unaweza kuambia wale ambao wanatusikiliza.
Sina habari kwa sasa, ni hayo tu, yale tu ambayo yanaendelea huko Addis Ababa, that is in Ethiopia. The conversation of who is going to be the next chairperson of the African Union Commission is what is going on. And one thing that I liked about the whole thing is the fact that a good number of people traveled to Addis Ababa in solidarity or in support of Raila's quest for that position. It is a good sign, and I
Mhm.
hope that the people of Kenya would come out to also pray and give moral support or whichever support that Raila needs for that position. Because just like we've been saying, this is not just a position for an individual.
Yeah.
It comes with so many advantages, and it is so unfortunate. I was also going through Twitter. There's also a guy by the name, is it Waume somebody?
Wahome Puku.
Yeah, he's also not really doing what is right. I think when we are fighting for something outside the Republic of Kenya, we need to, come together. We need to reason together. We need to speak together. I don't think it is wise for those who are using those other space to demean the candidate of African Union, that is Raila, the Kenyan candidate. As much as we have problems internally as a country, just the same way when you were growing up, we were being told that there are some things that if you discuss within the house where you stay,
Mhm.
you should not just expose them outside to people who are not staying in that house. And so I
Okay.
think it is unfair for those gentlemen to, give some information which we can discuss indoors and,
Mhm.
to take them outside the house. It is not really a good thing. There are things that we need to discuss internally and come with solutions. Being that they have a problem with Raila, not just them, the people of Kenya, whoever has a problem with him, there's a way, they should tackle that. If it was something that was affecting us as a people,
Mhm.
then directly, then possibly it would be wise for them to come out and criticize in that manner. But being that, I think what we're actually seeing is the narrative that has always been sold, the tribalism. Some of us have not gotten out of this tribalism cocoon, and that is the big problem. That if you follow the tweets and those who are sending these negative things,
Mhm.
these are people who have had this stand of Raila phobia since they were born. Because if you go through the trail of what they've been posting, they've been negative. At times there's no one who is perfect in this world. And I'm not really saying that Raila is perfect, that he needs our support. No. There's a point at which we need to just get out of this tribalism thing
Yeah.
and see things in a bigger picture. That is my take.
Okay. Thank you so much. And that was the first question I was asking me. Good. Like, if you look at on how the bid for Raila Amolo Odinga has been, especially in the country context, which means we have taken the country political battle into the international or in the African space, whereby we tend to use some of the words that we use on our current politics on the international level. So, to my question is, how does it benefit, or how does this gauge us as a country whereby we say that we put our country first, Mr. Miguda? And let me before you come in, and this is what Moses Kuria did, the CS. Moses Kuria said 12 votes is guaranteed. From Sahel region, 16 from Central and Eastern Africa, and 8 from Southern Africa. Hii kitu tupewe sasa, turudi nyumbani, tukalimalizie uchumi, tukalimalizie to kalainishe uchumi. Sorry for that. That is what Moses Kuria wrote. That 12 votes guaranteed from Sahel region, 16 from Central and Eastern Africa, and 8 from Southern. That's put him at around 38.
Tomorrow we will be here.
Yeah.
We will be seeing that 38. It's not what Moses Kuria thinks. That's what he wish. But we pray that Baba wins the AUC chairperson. We still wish him all the best. But this AUC thing, I've told you that it overrides personal relationship of people. It also overrides the meritocracy or someone who has been an icon, like Raila has been an icon in quote. It supersedes. There are a lot of interest in that election, and it is what we call universal suffrage, whereby you cast your vote. By casting your vote, you cannot tell who voted for who voted for who, because someone might be given direction back from the region he has come from that our decision at the SADC is so and so, because of maybe strategic position of the SADC country with the Madagascar guy, or because of the other interest from outside power, the power influence outside, or member state interest. Maybe the member state of the SADC, like what is happening right now. The South African soldiers were killed in DRC, and the South African people still feel that Tshisekedi need to do something to their people. But remember, Tshisekedi is a good friend of Baba. There are some things, it goes beyond friendship. Now you look at the interest of the member state, interest of your country, instead of even strategic position. Then, if you go to ECOWAS,
But
Western Africa,
Miguda, let me ask you, when they are going to vote, this is going to be a secret ballot. It's not an open ballot whereby like I'm coming from the SADC, I'm going to vote. So maybe let's say like SADC have like 10, an example. Then 10, one of them can decide to vote for Baba just because of their personal friendship.
let me tell you, Brother Benson, the fact that it is a secret. If someone wins, you can tell that there is what we call a state, like Kenyan people. There's no way William Ruto is going to betray Raila because of a decision they have made. They have made as a East Africa community, because you know how important is it for Raila to win that AUC locally here. Strategically, is the way we are being positioned. At the same time, our own interest as a country and the power we are going to get as the East African community. That is why it is not very easy for Ruto to vote against Raila and Museveni and Suluhu and the South Sudan. The same way, it is not easy for Ruto to vote for another person. That is the same way even SADC, even North Africa, have the same interest. Our interest can't be the same. The fact that Ruto is supporting Raila doesn't mean that everybody in Africa must support Raila. That is what I was saying. But as a country, it is very important for us, for Raila to win this AUC thing. In my view, let us leave these things of called tribalism. Let us put it aside. As a country, you understand there were some regulations or there were some amendments in the AUC that once a region has contested, it is called rotational. The customs which was put there is going to be rotational, whereby if it is our turn for the East African to rule, it can take some years for it to come back to the East Africa. And when it comes back to the East Africa, Tanzanians, Ugandans will say that time we gave you support. Right now, give that support back to Tanzania or Uganda or other countries, because it cannot be that each and every time it is for the Eastern Africa, it's only Kenya who give out candidates. It cannot be that way. That's why I say this is the only chance that Kenya has. For the longest time in the East, we haven't had any AUC chairperson as a Kenyan. And if it's a time for the East African community, it is very important for Raila to win it, because it can be the only person, and it can even take time for us to get another Kenyan. Maybe it can be some century for us to get another person to be the AUC chairman. That is why, while we are still alive, we need to see AUC chairperson from the Republic called Kenya. But you must bear in your mind that the fact that we want Raila to win does not translate that all African countries want Raila to win. The very way we have the interest for him to win is the very way other nations also have the interest for other people to win. That's why I told you that those comments are just good, they are juicy, but tomorrow we will have to know who is going to be the ANC chairperson. But we cannot be certain that Baba is going to sweep all the votes across Africa. It cannot be.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Miguda. And Laban Misiani, hi, Brother Ben. Thank you so much. I know most of Auntie Raila are now coming home, but afadhali wameze wembe. Miguda, come straight. You are supporting the Djiboutian candidate. That's what Laban is saying. Do you have a comment on that, Mr. Miguda, before I bring in Makobura?
Thank you for giving me time to comment. Thank you for giving that time because it's very important to comment. How I wish Laban could have known who I am. How I wish Laban could have known how much if Raila become the AUC chairperson. I personally am going to benefit directly because the fact that I oppose Raila during the broad-based government doesn't mean that Raila and me we are not in good terms. I just oppose broad-based government, but the AUC chairperson, me of all the people, I cannot oppose Raila because to me, once he becomes the AUC chairperson, just like any other young Kenyan, I'm also having links to Raila. So maybe I can be doing for him some stuff in the Addis Ababa. So that's why I cannot wish him to win. Laban, get it right.
Okay, thank you so much. Makobura, there's something also that is happening between the especially the Right Honorable Raila Odinga supporters. We had already talked about it when Miguda was here. They said that the President William Ruto has to do everything within his power to make sure that the Right Honorable Prime Minister wins. But to me, I feel from how the things have been unfolding, that I think like President William Ruto has done what he can do and is continuing to do all that he's within his powers to see that Raila winning. And people say that if he doesn't win, but what is it that President William Ruto can do that he has not done? That is one. Then secondly, there's also a group of Kenyans who have made this to be a Kenyan affair, a battlefield for politics. Muguda's talk about the patriotism and even sometimes giving negative comments about it, due to the fact that what happened in the country, So how can we make sure that when it comes to something that affects the whole country, like this candidacy of Raila Amolo Odinga, despite our different views in politics and all that, but now we could rally our support behind our own, which so many countries do?
Okay, thank you. First, I want to say that as a country, as a republic, we are still going to struggle when it comes to making decisions, political decisions, like the coming general election, because what is playing out is a pure, I would call it tribalism, because why is it that we are importing the tribalism in the republic? We are taking it to the continent of Africa. That is fast and fair, and that clearly, that clearly tells you that as a country we are still far. We are not yet where we are supposed to be, and the issue of tribalism is real. Because if you see the people who are, spreading these messages and also, sending these bad messages to those other leaders, these are people who have always believed that people from this certain region should not get any position. These are things that we need to get over. The Gen Zs came out and they were saying that we are coming as a tribeless nation or as a tribeless people, and what we want is someone who can deliver. And so the question we are asking is, what is it? What is it that Raila has done to the continent of Africa that shows that he's capable? If we compare that with those people who have, stood for that position, what you're saying here is, and is clear, Raila has served in different capacities within the Republic of Kenya, and he has performed well. He has also performed in the continent of Africa as a high, representative of infrastructure. And that is exactly clear and says that this is a guy who can do well. This is a guy who has a good mastery of the continent of Africa and what is needed in Africa. I think it is right for us at times to just put away the tribalism bit in us and the fear of a certain community or certain people when it comes to when you're discussing some serious issue. Because here, if I may ask those people, for example, that Gaito or the so-called Tuku, the reason why they think or believe that the Djibouti candidate is the best or is the right one, of course they'll say that because he speaks different languages. Those speaking different languages or many languages is not a qualification for someone to be elected and does not reflect their capability when it comes to performance. And so when the people of the Republic of Kenya are all joining in hands and they're saying that, you know what, we are supporting Raila Amolo Odinga just because he is first a Kenyan, he is from Eastern Africa, and again, he has what it takes to lead in that position. I think that is the right thing. If we were all genuine enough, then the people of Kenya, especially those who are having negativity that they've had ever since independence, they need to delete that in their mind and update their mind so that they can reason in a manner that reflects the opportunities and everything that we speak here in the country. Something else that I wanted to say is that just as like it has been said, the position is not just going to be beneficial to an individual. If it was going to benefit an individual, then I can clarify and tell you here that all these moves that presidents and people from SADC and all these other regions are making, or all these moves that they're trying to come up with, trying to say that we are supporting so and so, would not be there. So it is very clear, and we are saying that it is so unfair at the same time for Kenyans who are supposed to be encouraging one of their own, someone who is going to open doors for them, someone who is going to market the Republic of Kenya to them, someone who is going to, of course, he's going to be having a good relationship with the almost all presidents in the continent of Africa, and that is a benefit and a good thing for the country. And so it is so unfair to me, if you ask me, for fellow Kenyans, especially those who have had a negativity ever since. It is good to be negative, there's no problem. But there are points which if you get to, then you need to change. Anybody who needs change, or if you see all these successful people, at one point, if you follow their politics, at one point they were having a specific stand. And having a specific stand is a good thing, but you have to look at the bigger picture. How is this beneficial to me and to the Republic of Kenya and people around me? If you look at all those, then you'll see so many advantages that this thing is going to come out, is going to bring to us as a country. And again, remember, this thing is a rotation. Why we are one of the best or strongest countries in the continent of Africa. Why is it that if one of us is going to showcase his capability at the continent level, we are not supporting? Why is it that if one of us is going to showcase their skills at the continental level, we are bringing the tribalism bit? We are bringing the negative things that he had done before, which there's no problem, but are those things that they're attacking him or they're throwing on the way, are they really necessary at this point? The answer, of course, is it is not necessary. And we need to style up as a people. There are times when we need to be serious and stand with things which are making sense.
So,
The president coming out to support Raila Odinga, that has several like he has several reasons why he's doing that. First, internally in the Republic of Kenya, it is a way of sending him out so that he can get an easy way or an easy support for the next general election. But again, the president coming out to give his best, trying to find votes for the Raila, it is a good signal, yes, but of course, we are not really sure of the hidden agenda of the president. But bit from my understanding and me being a Kenyan, I know he knows the power, the political power that Raila Odinga has, and he's just trying his level best so that at least he can find the ground easy for him. That is my take.
I was asking you. Forget about the politics. What will happen even by him, Raila going and benefiting from the politics around the country? But these are some of the things that are becoming some of the pronouncements that are being made by those who are very strong supporters of Raila Odinga, and saying that if Baba does not get AU, that you have to try as much as what you have to use by any means within your powers, I mean, yeah, to make sure that Raila gets the seat or Raila win the seat. But now, from where I sit, I feel like the president has done all that within his means, including going to vote for him. What else do the supporters still need president to do?
Okay. Remember, the origin of that conversation is, of course, coming from the local, that is, from the Republic of Kenya. And the questions that the people are asking are, you know, we have had problems here as a country, remember? And part of the reasons why we are currently in the broad-based government, there's a group of people who think that Raila decided to support the president just because, the president needed his support, and that just because he needed also the support of the president. And so he went out of his way to sacrifice so many things among the things that he stood for, like fighting for the democracy, fighting for the rights of the people, and all those things. Remember, we can say that he sacrificed a lot because we've never known him of making stands similar to the ones that he made. So, the supporters are saying that just because you convinced Raila and he needed you, you have to make sure that you deliver for him so that he does not come back. And again, you have to deliver in the sense that after delivering, you have to ensure that the things that he stood for are implemented. If you go to, if I know you've been following the politics of the Republic of Kenya, whenever the president goes to the Luo Nyanza region or those parts that the president used to support, I mean, that supported Raila, he has been telling them that he's trying to do as per the, everything that the former premier wanted to do. And again, he convinced them by saying that he brought in cabinet secretaries and that he brought in cabinet secretaries and also experts from his close allies. And according to the president, the close allies are simply representing the views of Raila. And the people of Kenya are saying that they don't want to experience or to see bad things in this government just because the president has convinced and has told them that he brought in experts.
So concerning on what you're saying, and my question now is what they're demanding, yeah, because like as it stands right now, what else will they demand from the president?
Okay.
Or
What I can say is, what the people of Kenya wants, of course, is a life that is comfortable, a life that is favorable. They want an economy that is running, an economy ile yenye hawaifinyi. So what is happening here is the people are calling for or are demanding for good opportunities, employment opportunities in the country.
Yeah.
The people are also demanding for good leadership. The people are demanding for good roads, good infrastructure, and so.
Okay, thank you. Let me just clear with what you're doing, then you can come back. Raila victory is secured. We are reading for reading for celebration tomorrow. That is okay. We will be here to bring you all that, Mr. Koech. And thank you so much. Let me engage Miguda. Miguda, there's something that I'm not getting it right from Makobura, because I think you've met this narratives that lazima make sure that Raila ameshinda. Yeah. Na kwa kweli rais amefanya juu chini chochote ambacho anaweza fanya kuona kwamba Raila ameshinda kampeni zake na yao yote. Sasa wale wafuasi usugu wa Raila Odinga ambao wanasema kwamba lazima uhakikishe kwamba Raila ameshinda, asiposhinda, ama ni jambo gani hao wenyewe wanaona kwamba rais hajafanya ndio wakuje na maneno kama hayo?
I was trying to explain it previously, but Makobura have come late, but Makobura will get it. Actually, Raila's diehards want him to win.
Yeah.
And they have sent strong warnings that fanya juu chini Raila shinde. Even if you ask them in those strongholds, actually people want Baba to win. Baba supporters want him to win. That's a fact. And they want him to win to an extent they believe that William Ruto will give Baba that victory. And that is how they are spread that narrative. And in my view, I say that Ruto has tried his best. We are not in dispute. Ruto has tried. He has worked with Raila to some parts of the continent. He has worked with Raila outside the continent. He himself has gone to other countries to seek support for Raila. Financially, I believe he has supported Raila financially. He even gave some of his people, those who are working with Professor Makau Mutua. There was another person was from Ruto's camp. He gave Raila one of his friends to work with Raila. And Ruto has really supported Raila. We are not in dispute. But people are still not persuaded until they see Raila taking an oath of office. Once Raila will take an oath of office, then people will be persuaded. The Raila's fans want Raila to be the AUC chairman by all means. And if you want to know that is the truth on the ground, you just wait for in case Raila wins, for the celebration. I wanted to engage you a certain text here. Makuburu can just speak and look for what Raila had told me. Previously, yesterday I was chatting with someone, Brother Benson. Yesterday I was engaging someone from that person was in Kapseret constituency, Oscar Sudi's constituency.
Yeah.
But he is a Luo.
Yeah.
Raila diehard. We talked up to past midnight. This issue of AUC.
Yeah.
Those people, they are eager. They want Raila to win that thing. That's why they're giving Ruto ultimatum that Ruto, if Raila lose, we will have to speak another language. But for now, do everything. Even if what they're trying to tell Ruto, even it's a matter of bribing those presidents, bribe them to vote for Raila. Even if it's a matter of rigging that election, kindly rig that election. Even it's a matter of compromising those commissioners, compromise them. What we want to hear from the Addis Ababa is that I, Raila Odinga, having been stolen, those are things we want to add. But without that thing, I can tell you, Brother Benson, you will see how the Baba supporters will receive. They will not be. But once Raila got to that seat, you also see that the country will be different. And those who this issue Makobura was talking about, let us deal with it once and for all. This issue of Ukabila is not a good thing as a country, because the same people who are now objecting Raila's victory, whenever they have some things abroad, like if there is those who are participating for marathon, we celebrate as Kenyans that our people, our athletes have won, and as a nation, we appreciate and we celebrate as a Kenya that Kenya imeshinda. Whenever we have any competition, the previously there was a lady who was elected as a House of Representative from the Minnesota state in the United States of America. She was coming from Kisii, but we take it as a nation that is a Kenyan has been elected in the United States of America as a representative in the House of Representatives. We take it as a nation. Why is it that this one for Baba? Sasa ukabila inakuja hapa. Let us stop this thing called ukabila, because hata Raila ikuwa AUC chairperson haina effect kwako. Allow him to get it, allow him to enjoy, because Raila is aged, he has tried, he has fight for this country. At the same time, Raila amekosa hizi viti za rais. Hata akipata hii moja ambaye si ya Kenya, AUC si Kenya continent, wacha tu apate, hata yeye apate package mzuri, aende nyumbani. Sasa achie vijana watawale wenye kwa siasa, lakini mambo ya ukabila, mimi si, I cannot support anybody who want to divide Kenyans along the tribe. That one we are not. That is why we are going to part ways with our good friends. We will just be friends so long as we can live together and unite as a country. But the moment you introduce these issues of tribalism, hapo naye it will force us now to rethink and start to do other things. But let us just live as a one nation. This primitive of Kabila, I don't know where it's coming from, because why someone should just use Raila's name for him to get followers or maybe comments. This to me, Raila kishinda haina any effect kwako, akilose haina any effect kwako. Just allow Raila to have his day, and we wish him all the best tomorrow. We will watch. Akishindwa sawa, asiposhindwa sawa. Personally, Raila alishakubali ya kwamba akishinda ni sawa, asiposhindwa ni sawa. Ukabila tuachane nayo, because we must live as one people, one indivisible country called Kenya.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe something else that I wanted to add on that is the ultimatums that are being given by the president's diet. They're simply saying that so far, if you can remember, since Raila started assisting this government, or since Raila said that we are getting into a broad-based government, more of his supporters, those who are, is more of his followers, they've been silent. And even if you see in the parliament, majority, the likes of Kaloma, they've been trying to tone down. They have been trying to wait for a signal from Raila. So in short, if this one fails, I know that even the members of parliament who are currently supporting the broad-based will simply turn, and they will say that we are no longer going to support this broad-based because the president has not, according to them, they will say that the president had not supported their leader. And again, it is going to ignite the political tension again in the country, because the republic might go back on the mood of campaigns, because I'm quite sure that should he lose, he'll come back to his previous role, and possibly, remember, Professor Nyang' Nyong'o is currently acting as the party leader of ODM. And you know what it means for someone who's acting. He's acting just because the leader himself has delegated some functions to him, and he's now on a mission somewhere else. So possibly he'll come back and take up the leadership of ODM and continue with the journey that he had started, the journey of the political journey. And that means that there's a possibility of him coming back to even say that he still wants presidency. That, of course, is going to affect the ruling party, that is the KK, because remember, currently the KK is not they do not have enough power and support from the people. The only people who are making them, who are holding them, of course, are the members of parliament. So without the support of ODM supporters or Raila's diehard, then there's a possibility of this government finding it a little bit tough when it comes to the managerial part of the government. Yeah, so that is my take. Miguda, maybe you can give us your take on should they win? Should he win? What is going to happen, and how is that going to change the politics of Kenya?
In the event that Baba wins, and we still wish him all the best to win. We don't want him to lose. We want him to win. In the case that Baba wins, in my view, that will be somebody will be very happy. And the first person to be very happy is William Ruto. It will be good for him because this how he's going to persuade some supporters that we fought a good fight and we won as a country. We celebrate as a nation. And there is how going forward strategically how the politics is going to be played. Is going to give him an easy task on how to come to the people, particularly the Raila base. He doesn't need to do much. Unlike currently, because Raila has not won, because we are still in the race, when Ruto want to go to Luo Nyanza, he must go there with the projects. He must go with roads. He must go with whatever infrastructure. He must go. That is how he can persuade Luos that actually I want your votes. But once Baba won that, is going to win that seat, he will not stretch so much to persuade people. There's how he will use even Baba's foot soldiers to communicate to the people in the language they better understand. They understand better. And the people, to Ruto, it will be a very good entry for him into Raila base. But if Raila wins again, it can also be good for the nation and also good for the young people and the political atmosphere, because once Baba exit politics and he has gone to the AUC, he will now concentrate on the continental affairs, AUC Commission. As a chair, he must engage Africans head of state. He must engage beyond continent of Africa. Therefore, he'll be committed and he'll be moving across the continent, or he will be based in Addis Ababa, but most of the time he can even move beyond the continent. It means now he will not be active in our domestic politics. He will not be active in how to arrange his political party, ODM. He will not be active on how to arrange the coalitions. Maybe he can use phone calls away through people like Kanyang Nyong'o, the way you have stated, but we will not be seeing him on the ground, whereby some people do go to rally because of Raila, and other people will not attend those rallies because Raila is no more. In my view, it's a plus for the growth of the politics of the country, because now there are people who can come out independent mind and speak their mind without any fear of any consequences, because we understand the wave of Raila in his strong base. If you go contrary to him, there's how you cannot get those elective seats. In my view, it's good for the growth of the younger generation, and also it creates space for the leaders, because remember, if Raila loses election, he comes back to Kenya as the ODM party leader. He comes back to Kenya as the opposition leader. It means that kuna watu watafinywa. We need that space. That's why we want him to win and to create enough space for independent minds to think, also to create enough space for divergent opinion, because it doesn't matter that all of us must be no DM. People can have different political parties. What is important that as a country, after elections, once we are done with the elections, we are united, despite even we have different opinion, even whether we differ ideologically. But after elections, we have to shake hands and work as a country. That's what is important. But at least we have to create rooms for new things, how we look things differently. We must create room for change. It must not be Raila. Each and every election, Raila must be on the ballot. We should even try it, because some of us, since we started to follow this thing called politics, there is no any time people have walked into a polling station minus Raila as the presidential candidate. Raila started becoming presidential candidate in 1997. 2002, he skipped it and supported Kibaki, but it was very influential in that coalition. 2007, 13, 17, 2022. He has been a candidate all through. We can even have an election without Raila as a ballot. Those are the kind of the change we want. that at least it creates space, room for other people, because there are people who have been saying that they are capable of becoming president. There are people who have been saying that they are capable of winning this thing. We want to give them opportunity now to persuade us on how they can send William Ruto home, because it is an open chance. If Raila goes to AU, it's now an open chance. Anybody can chip in. You can chip in if you are a man enough, because they have been saying that Raila is the only one who can be his votes can be stolen. We also want to see them. We want to see them demonstrating how they can manage their campaigns and how they can send William Ruto at home. It will create enough space for people to participate democratically. Makbura, back to you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe to add on something is Raila's win, of course, would mean well for the country and for the continent. And again, it's going to affect the politics, the local politics, the Kenyan politics, because you'll find that those politicians who have always stood with him, they'll be left, I would say, orphan, and there's a possibility of them just going to get out of that arrangement or ODM to find or to look for new other parties that, according to them, would be known by the people or the popular parties. So there's much that would happen politically, and here in Kenya, there's much that would change. Laban Misiani is saying, let Baba win a UC chair to give other people room for their win to be stolen or lose election. I also want to agree with him that, Baba's exit is going to affect a good number of members who have always hanged on his neck or on his popularity, especially in the Luo Nyanza. And that might also give the people opportunity to choose new leaders. Because what we've been seeing, especially in the Luo Nyanza region, is that Raila points or tells you that vote for this person, and you'll have to vote for that person without thinking twice. So, of course, there's good things that is going to come with, especially in Luo Nyanza, because we are going to start seeing new political parties emerging. We are also going to start seeing new, young, fresh leaders coming up. And again, it is also going to open up the thinking of those people who have always believed that it is Raila, and if not Raila, then there's no election or there's no any leader. Yeah, so that is my take. I want to take this opportunity to just give or say a thank you to Brenda Bedi for finding time to join us this evening. Douglas Kipogong, thank you so much. Laban Misiani, thank you so much. Hilary Koech. Hilary Koech, if you're new to this channel, kindly just like and subscribe, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us. And you can also join the BBM family, and we'll appreciate. To our good friend Eric Ayaga, thank you so much for also finding time to join. Miguel, I'll give you a chance to give your last remarks before we close.
First, I'd like to appreciate our viewers, and I want to state it here very clearly and let it go get into the record. I personally am supporting Raila Odinga to win the AUC chairperson. In fact, let him win that AUC chairperson. I don't want him to lose. I'm supporting him fully, and if he lose that AUC chairperson, I'll be hurt. But for now, I'm supporting him as a comrade of my country, and as one of us. We are in solidarity. We are praying for him, actually. Tomorrow, as you know, me, I'm a Sabbath keeper. Tomorrow I'll go to church, but we will put him in prayers, and we hope that he will win. Thank you, Makubura. See you next time.
Okay, to our viewers, I also want to take this opportunity to just say that I wish Raila Amolo Odinga I pray for him that may God grant him win in that election that is happening tomorrow. And if he wins, we'll give glory to God. But whichever the results, we'll as well give glory to God, because it's God who knows and plans for everything. At times we go through things just because we are needed to learn something and also change. So that is my take this evening. I want to take this opportunity to wish all our viewers a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever they are.